Welcome to another Rolled in Reacts episode. This customer had done his own yearly service, but had to come in because he now has a burnt paper smell when driving. And this customer had installed a new rackless roof box all by themselves. This truck came in for a pre-purchase inspection after the current owner had said, "Don't worry, she's just fine underneath." This customer had their friend tow their car 60 miles or about 100 kilometers to the shop, but had left it in gear, which had caused the flywheel to actually go flying. And this customer had apparently tried to fix a coolant leak all by himself using some top-grade stop leak. And this car came in because of poor acceleration and an exhaust leak. Apparently, the owner had built and installed the exhaust system all by himself. Customer states, "I think I floored it a bit too hard this time." Customer states, "Loud growling noises when driving on the highway." And this customer's car rolled in on a tow truck after it wouldn't start. Apparently, whoever was towing the car had towed it using both tie rod ends, and this is what that ended up looking like. This Suzuki Grand Vitara came in because the customer said that they had a strange knocking noise from below the car. The mechanic found two rusted rear control arms to be the issue. This Honda CR-V came in for a strange noise while driving. Besides the obvious issues with the drive shaft, the steering rack and the steering input also had their fair set of problems. Customer states, "Car runs rough and doesn't accelerate as it used to. Please advise." This car came in because the owner had no brakes and the mechanics found that the discs and pads were missing. This car had been taking some swimming lessons but had to come in because it wouldn't start. Beautiful. How to fix squeaky belts, the easy way. This customer came in saying that their car is loud as hell after they had it in for some work at another shop. And this tire was leaking so bad that it kept leaking even after being taken off the rim. Looks great! This 2004 Chevy Silverado came in because it kept overheating and leaking coolant after the customer had installed a new aftermarket electric engine fan that they had bought on eBay. And the owner of this car rolled in complaining about a vibration in their steering wheel when driving on the highway. This customer came in saying that they just want some balancing work and that the shop don't try no funny business to get them to pay extra. And this customer had came in and said, "Just give me the tire rotation and don't try to screw me over." And this customer's Jeep had a broken oil cooler that had unfortunately filled the entire cooling system with oil. And if your crankshaft and timing chain starts sounding like this, you better have some good insurance. "It ain't got no gas in it." And this customer came in saying that since last week, their truck has just refused to start and wanted it looked at. Customer states, "Car runs weird when idling." Customer states, "Car started handling worse recently. Please advise." And here's the difference between a new blower motor and a used one. This one runs smooth and pretty much doesn't make any sounds. But this used one Holy moly. Customer states, left front wheel is locked up. Uh-oh. Customer states, parking brake keeps getting stuck. And the owner of this car came in saying that their car has started to squeak, but not only when their wife rides along. Customer states, steering wheel feels really weird. If it works, it works. And this customer came in with their minivan saying it sounded louder than normal after their son had borrowed it for the weekend. And the owner of this Ford Fiesta hadn't replaced their cabin filter in quite a while. And this customer had just replaced the ball joints at a different shop, but had to come in because of a clunking sound. This customer had apparently tried rock crawling for the first time. This customer came in saying that they keep getting a strange sound during idle. If you have any idea what could be causing it, let us know in the comments below. Thank God that these were finally replaced. And this diesel Ford F-250 came in because it wouldn't start after the owner accidentally put AdBlue in the fuel tank instead of the AdBlue tank. Customer states, car needs a wheel alignment. And this customer wondered why they have to keep topping their car off with coolant all the time. Turns out it was hiding in the oil pan. The owner of this Toyota came in saying that it had started to make strange sounds after he had tried maxing it out on the highway the night before. Customer states, car is leaking a lot of oil. Customer states, my tires have a pimple problem, please advise. This car came in for an oil change when the mechanic noticed that the customer had done some body and paint work on it, all by himself. Very nice. This car had its engine done at another shop, but came in because it was leaking oil. The mechanic found the rear main seal and a couple broken valve springs to be the cause. An undercover automatic. Customer states, ran over some traffic signs, please check underneath and make sure everything is alright. This 2016 Toyota Tacoma came in because it shut off as the customer was driving on the highway. Luckily for them, they had good insurance that covered the repair costs. And this car had some pretty big thermostat issues. This car came in on a tow truck because it refused to start after the owner had tried installing some new speakers by himself. The mechanic found a few blown fuses and a couple shorted wires to be the issue. Living in America. Surprise, surprise. This Toyota CHR came in because it had some transmission issues. This customer came in saying that his car has started to sound like a toy machine gun. And this customer came in with their Ford F-150 because their brakes keep locking up. Uh-oh. And this truck came in because a potential buyer wanted to see how she looked underneath. Customer states, my car keeps overheating, please advise. This Chevy Trailblazer came in because the power steering was very loud. Turns out that the end seals in the power steering rack were bust, which had led to the inner tie rod boots getting filled with power steering fluid. And this customer had money shifted their new Subaru WRX while testing it on the highway. Customer states, every time I use the turn signals, the rear view camera turns itself on. This Toyota Tacoma came in for an oil change, and when the mechanic had it up on the lift, he discovered that it was in need of a bit more work than just that. The owner of this car came in saying that they think their car sounds a bit different than normal and wanted it checked out. And this customer had painted his own wheels all by himself. And this car came in for some brake work, but when the mechanic told the customer the price, they said that they'll think about it, but then never came back. This car came in because the owner said it had started to run really rough after having been in for some work at another shop. This stanced out car came in to get an oil change, and the mechanic just happened to notice that they had used rain gutters as side skirts. Ah, you can't see it from a plane, come on. This customer came in complaining about not being able to put their car in gear anymore, and this is what the mechanic found once he inspected the gear actuator. The owner of this car wanted to replace the coolant in the radiator themselves, and accidentally ended up filling the washer liquid reservoir with coolant. This car came in with an exhaust leak after the customer had installed a new sport exhaust system by themselves. Customer states, had car in for some work at a different shop, but brake pedal now goes to the floor. Can you check it out? And this customer had an appointment to fix their tire, but had apparently driven the car in like this. This customer's truck came in because its four-wheel drive wasn't working anymore after getting it lifted at another shop. Turns out that the other shop had lifted the front end and in the process switched the spindles to a two-wheel drive model and then just removed the CV axle. Great job, fellas! And this is exactly why mechanics and car engineers are always best friends. This Chevy Sonic came in with a clunking sound and steering issues after the owner's father had done some work on it. The owner of this car had their catalytic converter stolen, but apparently didn't notice anything until they came in for an oil change a few days later. The owner of this car came in with a clunking sound after they had apparently done some work on the suspension and outer tie rods, all by themselves. Customer states, heard a loud pop when driving on the highway. When the mechanic told the customer the price estimate, he said that he'll call back, but never did, and ended up just leaving the car at the shop. And this customer came in saying that their truck has started to run pretty badly ever since the last oil change. The mechanic found that whoever did the oil change ended up overfilling the engine and then some. And this 2020 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack came in because of a bit of a misfire. And this Honda came in because of a clunking noise. This customer came in after they had gotten stuck in mud, floored it until they got onto pavement, and then they had gotten a really bad burnt smell and the car wouldn't go into gear anymore. This car came in for a new ignition coil harness after a mouse had snacked on the old one. This 2022 Toyota Tacoma came in after the owner had just picked it up from the dealership, but on his way home he heard a loud metallic sound and then the car just stopped. Turns out that the timing chain had snapped, but luckily for the customer his insurance covered a new engine. This customer came in complaining about clunking noises from the rear. This customer came in saying that they've been having a clunking sound since last month and came in to have it checked out. Looks good. This truck came in for a post-purchase inspection after the buyer had purchased it the night before, and this is what the mechanic ended up finding. Customer states, rear end is all over the place. Please advise. This semi-truck came in after the owner said, I've had this truck in for regular maintenance every year, but recently it just keeps overheating on me. The mechanic found the issue to be caused by a pretty nasty looking coolant filter that probably had been in there since new, when they should be replaced every 12 to 24 months. This customer came in with their classic Mercedes and said that they'd driven the car for thousands and thousands of miles without any issues, but now needed some help in getting this fixed. This customer came in saying, heard a little thump when driving to work, then the oil light came on and I had to pull over. The owner of this car complained about clunking sounds after hitting a pothole. The owner of this Nissan had apparently just filed for divorce from his wife, and this is what she ended up doing to his car. And this customer came in saying that their car sounds louder than usual. Customer states, every time I turn on the AC, my car starts smelling like an old person. Please advise. And this valve core got stuck and started to spin as the mechanic was doing a tire repair. And this customer had tried doing their own oil change, but had tightened the new oil filter a bit too hard, and now had a pretty bad oil leak. This Chevy Silverado 2500 HD came in with a pretty decent transmission leak. The mechanic found that the tailshaft housing had cracked because of a busted U-joint. And here's another awesome example of the mutual love that is felt between mechanics and engineers. Got a few more miles on it, no problem. This is how you know it's just the right time to replace your brake rotors. Wait a second. This customer came in saying that their buddy helped them fix their squeaky brakes, but they're still squeaking. And this car apparently came in without a bearing. Customer states, started the car up and was revving it a bit, and then I heard a loud pop. This customer came in because of an ABS light, and this is what the mechanic found. Customer ended up agreeing to get new suspension installed. This car had apparently been in for some suspension work at another shop, but had to come in because the customer complained about a clunking sound that has just gotten worse ever since. Customer states, car keeps clunking when going over bumps. The customer ended up declining all repairs. Customer states, wife was driving home from work when she heard a loud pop and then the engine just stopped. Alright, get it out of here. Customer states, I don't know what has happened, but my fuel economy is absolutely horrible. Customer states, left rear door won't open from the inside. A bit like magic, right? And this car came in because it wouldn't start after the owner had let their son borrow it for 2 weeks while they were gone fishing. And this engine had a bit of a leak. And this car came in with quite the fuel leak. This 2021 Hyundai Elantra came in because of a leaking cooler. I'll let you figure out the why behind this one. This car came in after the owner complained about a noise when braking. And you know, this is what could happen when you let your buddy do the work for cheap. This Genesis G80 had to come in because the customer couldn't open or close the trunk anymore. Turns out that on these models, there's a wire harness that goes all the way from the front doors to the trunk that needed to be replaced. And you can just imagine how excited the mechanic was for this one. Customer states, seat is itchy, need a deep clean or a new seat. Sounds great. Customer states, loud noises when driving on the highway. Apparently, the customer had overloaded the car regularly and never replaced the worn out stock shocks in the back. And this customer came in saying that he was driving really fast on his way home from work, but then he heard a loud bang and the car just turned itself off. I think someone missed something. And this customer had their truck's automatic transmission in for some work and got it back like this. Customer states, car is pulling to the right. There's your problem, sir. Customer states, brakes recently started to squeak. Looks like they have a bit more problems than just squeaky brakes. Oh, is that RTV silicone? And this car isn't British, but still likes to make tea every single day, especially when being driven in the middle of the desert. Customer states, car feels very bumpy. Uh-oh. And this customer complained about their engine rattling more after a recent oil change. Customer states, my car gets way too excited whenever I fire it up. Please advise. Customer states, car jerks hard whenever I floor it. The owner of this car wanted heated seats, so they bought a kit off of eBay and installed it themselves, but came into the shop a few weeks later saying, I can't get rid of this locker room smell in the cab and my battery light keeps coming on. This customer complained about a wobbly steering wheel. This Dodge Dakota came in after the owner said that it's gotten harder and harder to drive in a straight line, after their friend had done some welding work for them. This customer had hit a curb with their Beetle doing 30 miles an hour, or 50 kilometers an hour. Customer states, was driving behind a cheese truck when a huge Parmigiano came flying straight at me. And this customer came in with a pretty bad clunking noise after they had done some suspension work to fit their new aftermarket 30-inch wheels. This customer had apparently hit a large pothole doing 40 miles an hour. And this car came in after the owner had tried to deep clean it, but ended up feeling like it was too much work to put all the interior back together, and came in to get some help. The owner of this Cadillac came in asking if it's supposed to smoke this much during cold starts. Nah, I don't think it needs new bushings. This car came in because it was running poorly and had blue exhaust smoke, and this is what the mechanic discovered when he went to check the oil level. And this customer came in with a stock parking brake. The mechanic found that the customer must like peanut butter a lot because the whole center console was swimming in it. And this truck rolled in with one of the wheels holding on for dear life. And this car came in with a bit of a rust problem. Customer states, my car doesn't know if it's too warm or too cold, just like my wife. Customer states, car got louder overnight, please advise. The mechanic discovered that someone had stolen everything but the customer's cats. This Ford F-150 rolled in because the customer said, my fat stepson was riding in the back of my truck when I hit a bump on the road and then I heard a loud crack. Customer states, had a loud noise when going over bumps, but I fixed it myself. This truck rolled in because the owner said it wasn't running very well and had started to leak coolant, but forgot to mention anything about the PCV valve. Customer states, my car has started chain smoking again. And this sheriff came in because he kept hearing a bell when driving over bumps. Customer states, topped off some oil the other day, but now I've got a problem. This car rolled in because it had some differential issues after another shop had rebuilt it for cheap. This Chevy Cruze rolled in because it kept overheating after the customer accidentally topped the coolant off with transmission fluid. This car apparently does not like any air going on the windshield. Customer states, I keep getting this strange rattling sound when driving. Uh-oh. And sometimes when things get too hot, you just gotta work with what you got. And this 1970s Volkswagen bus looks pretty alright from a distance, but once you get up close, prepare for a lot of oh boys and wows. This Chevy Silverado 3500 came in because the owner said it had started to sound a lot louder than normal during acceleration. This car came in with a coolant leak and an overheated engine after the customer had tried topping off the coolant by themselves and apparently lost the coolant cap. And this truck apparently has a keyless stop function. This customer had gotten a new transmission installed at another shop, but had to come in 3 days later because they just couldn't get it into drive anymore. And whoever engineered this vehicle definitely had the mechanic in mind when doing so. The owner of this 2014 Dodge Dart came in saying, I think my car has started to remember its past life in the Wild West. Customer states, car started making funny noises, but no check engine light is on. Customer states, wobbling steering wheel when pulling out of the driveway. This customer came in complaining about their car having really bad starting issues and said, listen, my nephew's an awesome electrician and he usually does all my work, but he's on vacation, so I need you guys to help me out here. And this customer had built his very own portable lunch heating device. This customer rolled in complaining about poor acceleration and that it takes a while to turn the car on, and this is what the mechanics discovered. Customer states, my car's leaking oil. And if you ever want to change an oil pan gasket on a GMC Envoy 5.3 liter V8 with all-wheel drive, you have to first pull out the shaft from the front differential that runs straight through the oil pan before you can even begin. Easy peasy. And this car had a bit of a strange oil plug, but it apparently wasn't leaking any oil. The owner of this car came in saying that he's been hearing a meowing sound all morning on his way to work and had to come in to have it checked out. Luckily, the cat was fine and ended up finding its way back home. Customer states, wheel clunks a lot after recent tire swap at a different shop. Uh-oh. Customer states, my car is a bit louder than normal, please advise. This customer complained about a rattling noise when driving over 30 miles an hour. And this car came in sounding like this. And the owner of this car came in saying that he don't need no smartphone to find his way anywhere. He only uses tech that he knows will work no matter what. And this car came in for an exhaust leak, but the mechanic discovered that it needed a little bit more work than just that. The customer also ended up declining all repairs. And this customer came in saying that their steering wheel has started to wobble a lot more than normal and wanted it looked at. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and until next time.